For our first program, we're going to go ahead and highlight all this, hit backspace and delete it. We're going to go line by line, explaining what we're doing, and we're going to write our own Hello World program. So here we go. It's okay if you don't remember exactly what was there. We're going to do it step by step. The first thing your Go program will need, whether you're on VS Code or in this online editor, is you need package main, and this is just something that's required. For now, that's really all we need to know about it, is just it has to be here in order for our Go program to run. The next thing we're going to need is a main function. So a function is something that we'll get deeper into further in this course, but for now we just need to know that all of our commands that we want the computer to do has to go inside of a function called main. So if we say function, and instead of writing the whole word function in Go, you just write the word func like this, F-U-N-C, and then space, and then main. So we're kind of writing a function without knowing what a function does yet. And like I say, we'll explain this a little more as we go, and it'll start to make sense. After the word main, you're going to need parentheses, open and close like that, space, and then you're going to need brackets, open and close. Hit enter. All right, now this is how we declare a function in Go. Again, a function is something we'll get into more later, but this is what you're going to need in every Go program that you write. There will have to be a main function. And now we can go ahead and let's print something to our console. A console is where your output of your program will appear. In our case, it's going to be down here at the bottom of the screen. If you're using VS Code, of course, bring up your terminal or run it in a terminal and it'll appear there. So we want to print something. We want to tell our code to print something to this console. And we have to tell it what to do inside of main. So inside of main, in order to print something in Go, again, this is something that we can explain more in depth in a bit, but we have to say fmt dot print, and you can see it's giving me autocomplete options. You can either scroll down and hit tab on this, or you can just finish typing it out. Print ln like that, parentheses. And so println is another one of those functions that we'll talk more about then. This is what's a method really, but anyways, it's kind of something where you're going to put in what you want to print. So you're going to feed println whatever you want to appear in the console. In our case, we're going to use these double quotes, and we're going to say hello world like this. And then if you're in Go, if you're in VS Code, make sure you save it. If you're in the normal browser here, you're good. If we try and run this as is, we're going to see we get an error. And I'll show you what an error looks like here now. So let's go ahead and click run. Oh, and we get hello world. It recognized that we were missing our import fmt. I wanted to show you an error, but it recognized we were missing this and it imported it for us. Realistically, if you did that in VS Code, it's going to error and say, hey, you didn't import this package. So what you would have to do is you would have to say what was just there, import fmt, in order to be able to use this fmt down here. And Go has different packages and things like that you can import to make things easier. In our case, we have to import this in order to be able to print to the console. Couple of clarity points. FMT is short for format. There's a package in Golang called format that we're importing, which is a bunch more code, and we're using their code in order to print to the console. So for example, we're importing a bunch of code from format and we're using the print function that they provide, kind of like we have a main function. They have a print function, and all we have to do is feed it what we want to print, and it'll print to the console. If we wanted to say hello Golang, something like this, and we run it, it will of course print hello Golang instead of hello world. So whatever we want to print, we can feed it here. One more example might be like just the number 4. Say we want to print that. it has no problem with that. It can print the number 4. One thing that we haven't, I'm going to hit Control Z to undo these just to get back to hello Golang. And again, we need to have the main function declared every time if we try and change this. So let's say there's no main function in our program and I change the name to test. We still have the package main, but Go is always going to look for this main function to start for the start of your program in order to run the code in your program. So if we try and run it like this, you'll see an error runtime.main. Function main is undeclared in the main package. So package main, and we don't have a main function inside of our main package because we changed it to test. If I Control Z that and change it to main and run it, now we do have our main function, and of course this prints.